All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me today. And of course, my name is Sal, and I am a sales professional, cloud architect, right? And trainer, right? Okay, let's get to it. So today we're gonna start off with something different. I don't want to. I'm going to piggyback off the real estate, the four examples that we had last time. You know, because I want to talk about something that I think is important in this industry. And right, I'm your CEO. We talked about this already. There's no formal introduction already. If you guys are following, great. If not, I'm also a cloud architect. Right, I was a professional IT professional turned cloud engineer, now cloud architect, with about 4 or 5 years experience. I have background, strenuous background in data centers and designing networks, designing infrastructure, designing architectures in a cloud security network environment, with some AI involved as well too, right? But you know, I wanna talk about, I'm trainer as well too. I used to train at about two or three different faculties here in Canada, remotely and face to face. So training sales, training marketing, training um, you know, closures is all about business. It's all about entrepreneurship and all about what the CEO, the frameworks of the CEO, right? Usually we deal the work and deal the uh equal distribute the amount of work that needs to be done equally in different departments, like your sales reps, your junior sales reps, your senior sales reps, your VPs, your managers, and stuff like that. And IT and any sales, like I said, even in IT, we used to sell laptops and sell desktops. I was as a kid, I used to do mix and match. I used to build them for them. But it's about that mindset, right? And closing the customers and knowing, understanding. And that goes well with, again, like I said yesterday, real estate, mortgages, insurance. I've worked in insurance companies. I worked for mortgage agents. I've worked in IT, and I've designed infrastructures for them, and I've built a lot of stuff for them. So I kind of got to learn how they play the game, right? Right, we play together. That's how it works, right? And sometimes, there's always that one or two person that'll say, hey, let's try to drain you down. Let's try to take your energy that you have and just spit it out and make you feel like you're nothing, right? And that to me is disrespectful. It's part of the game here. And I kind of understand now, like, you've got your game to play. I get it, right? So you have to understand that, you know, it's no one trains you on in IT. No one trains you in cybersecurity, security, or the cybersecurity security umbrella, right? And nobody trains you on sales in the first place, right? So let's talk about something that no one trains you on in sales, right? And my goal here is to get you guys to understand that there are energy vampires. And that's going to be our topic for today. Also, what's an energy vampire? If you've never heard of it, it is something that's real and it is something that is ongoing and it is something that's, prospects who ask for everything, price, pictures, details, breakdowns, but never move closer to a decision. And I can guarantee you that you feel and you guys have your energy vampires. Well, Sal, what's an energy vampire? Again, I just told you, right? So, it's that prospect who asks for everything. And once you ask for everything, you know, you're not really moving closer to the decision. So they'll like your posts, they'll send a thumbs up, they'll just send me info. They'll say, just send me info, right? And this is where the rookies get excited, right? And I'm gonna write this out for you guys because I want you guys to understand here. Right? They like your posts, they send a thumbs up, they say, just send me the info. Rookies get excited, right? This is where the rookies get excited. But there's a difference between attention and attention, right? So in this video, I'm going to break down how energy vampires drain your time, why price only buyers keep you stuck, and how a true sales warrior professional like us manages their energy instead of chasing validation, right? So because in business, we're here to protect we're protecting your focus is just as important as closing the deal. So remember that. Because in this business, protecting your focus is just important as closing your deal. And we're gonna go ahead and kind of move on to um, how a sales professional manages them, right? So an energy val and again, like I said, you ask for everything. Here's another one too. Asks for everything, gives nothing, drains your time, focuses on and this is in cold prospecting as well too. We're talking about LinkedIn, we're talking about X, Meta, WhatsApp, um, any Instagram, um, TikTok. These are specific to where this is where it's all going to happen. I'm going to spacing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to here. All right. I'm going to clear the op. You know what? I'm going to clear the styles. There you go. Clear the formatting. Okay. So again, let's break down the remove the spaces. There we go. All right. So again, ask for everything. Here, let's make this a little bit bigger for you guys to see. Ask for everything, gives nothing, drains your time, focuses on this is where the rookies get excited. True. Very true. Never moves closer to a decision. Here's another one, right? Right. And obviously these are the types of things that I would ask you, my audience, the person watching in front of me, one to one or one to many. And these are things that you're going to get all the time. And this is what an energy vampire is, right? This is what an energy vampire. This is what an energy vampire is. They consume attention but void commitment, right? They exist. They do exist. Yeah, they do exist. And don't kid yourself on this, guys. They exist. Yeah, they exist. Yeah, we go page two. Yeah, energy vampires exist. It's mostly price and pictures only, right? Where prospects are, again, avoiding real conversations and just liking your post, fire emojis and heart emojis, and just to give you that sense of, attention. And you're not really comparing it without, and this is comparing without intent. You're just shopping emotionally and not strategically, right? So you're afraid to commit. They stay in low investments mode where they don't want to spend money, right? They don't want to spend money. And the prospect will say, just send me the price. Just send me the price. And I talked about this. How's the market yesterday? Send pictures. Send me the pictures. I'll let you know. I'll call you tomorrow. As sales professionals, I'll let you know. As sales professionals, we need to keep them. We need to get them engaged. At least they come to us, right? And this isn't really engagement here, right? This isn't engagement here, right? And this isn't the engagement. It's not engagement, right? Isn't engagement, right? This is distance, right? So get that through your head. And the prospect says, just send me the price. And these are different again, this is distance. It's not engaging, right? What are you doing wrong that's engaging rookies, right? And a sales rookie, we're biggest fear, right? Is this, right? So how do you how do you react to these things, right? Yeah, as a sales rookie, and usually they send everything immediately. Okay, they'll over explain. They'll follow up emotionally. They'll get excited over a heart emoji, or a fire emoji, or just anything that thinks like, hey, they like my post, they're interested. He's a famous guy. He likes my post. They're interested. How do you get that famous guy to buy from you? Right? Think about it that way, sales rookie. Get that guy, get that millionaire. And that's energy drained results. That's a no deal. That's fucking frustration. And frustration builds rookies. You're confusing attention with intention. So don't confuse rookies. Don't confuse attention with intention. I hope you like that one. Don't confuse attention with intention, right? Just send me the price, send pictures. I'll let you know. Distance. Well, professional warriors, we qualify energy, right? Before actually investing time and energy, right? So instead of reacting, guys, strategically, what I want you to do is say this, even if you've got to be that tour guide or that, you know, thing, that person, happy to send that over. Before I do, what specifically are you looking for so I can narrow it down properly? Now the prospect must participate and is engaging now. I mean, and is it forming that distance? Or can I absolutely send pricing? Usually that depends on what we're trying to accomplish. What's the goal? It becomes a conversation, not a catalog request. Like you're cataloging for chocolates, or you're cataloging for decor or candles, or like stuff that you, or picture frames, like back in the days. And you know um it can be draining and it can be frustrating, right? So happy to send that over. Before I do, and this is a sales professional, right? Say for example, you got a catalog and you're selling this house and you built that catalog and you're gonna send them over that uh, PDF. Happy to send that over before I do. What specifically are you looking for so I can narrow it down properly? That way you can send them the links or specific information within that pamphlet so that they're not just handing that pamphlet to him and that's his takeaway back home or to the car or to the next meeting or just completely ghosting you and throwing you in the garbage, right? So what specifically are you looking for? You get what I'm saying? So happy to send that over. Yeah, absolutely. Before I do, what specifically are you looking for so I can narrow it down properly? Remember that. What specifically are you looking for so I can narrow it down properly? You're getting into the mechanics here. That's how sales professionals control energy. That's how sales professionals controls conversation. Frustration, headaches, they don't do anything, right? You have to expand on the script here. Happy to send that over. Before I do, what specifically are you looking for so I can narrow it down properly, right? Just send me the pictures, send me details. A rookie will hear opportunity at your test of control, right? So pause before you provide. So never react instantly, right? Remember that, especially behind here, never react instantly, right? And I'll get to this point here. I'll break this down, but I want to show you how an actual versus a big fear versus a sales professional, right? And you're not just a sales professional in a day or by watching this movie or this lesson. It takes time to understand this how that person works, right? So, you know, I'm going to hear opportunity if a rookie is going to hear opportunity, right? Right, and the sales professional, it's a test of control, right? So, never react instantly. Why? Because whoever answers questions immediately, right away you're losing leverage. Test of control, right? Leverage. You're losing leverage. So instead of rewarding that low effort, they redirect it. Professionals, right? So happy to send that over. Before I do, what specifically are you looking for? So, and you have to understand that because the test of control is where this this script comes from, right? So, and this does three powerful things. So now there's you're gonna see three different things in this aspect, right? And I want to break this down as well too. And you're gonna see shifting response, like how the professional shifts responsibility. Like it's rocket science, not rocket science here, right? So now the prospect has to participate. You're no longer the information vending machine. Are you a vending machine? Like, do I like in order for you to talk, do I gotta insert coin? Right? You're no longer that information vending machine. So understand that this is what it does, and this is powerful, especially for a professional, right? Number two, filters tire kickers. It's like, okay, Sal, what's that mean? What does that mean? Like, where'd you get that from? Filters tire, and this is just the same. And I'll tell you what that means is if they answer specifically, they're engaged. If they answer vaguely, they're just browsing. And you gotta understand the psychology around that, especially when you're selling something, right? So, you know, I can't afford this. Uh, you know, then you start looking at objections, right? Or I gotta talk to my wife, or you know, like give me what you're specifically looking for so that you can narrow it down properly And I understand what you're looking for. That way I can give you that information and bring that back to your wife, and get that communication, that handoff, right? So, you know, your browsing is huge, and a lot of people will do that, right? So I'm gonna go down here, right? And then lastly, authority, right? And why you're establishing it. So you're not desperate, you're selective, you customize. That's the signal of value. So that's what that means, right? So what specifically are you looking for, right? Right. And I'm gonna get you guys, if you guys give me 1 second, I'll get you guys a good well, I'm gonna put this overall, and I'm just trying to think about a good idea to kind of give you guys, especially with I'm happy to send this over. Before I do, and this is a great response, especially to someone, because then we'll get into how the energy vampires, um, you know, happen, especially within prospects. So um, let's expand this. I want to expand this a little bit over to you. And we have to understand you have in real estate, you have to have your rookie version, you have to have your broker version, you have to have your binary categorization, you have to have your energy, and you have to have your close, right? So that's important. So for example, yesterday we talked about that that $500,000 home. Sorry, give me 1 second. Right, so you have that $500,000 home, and the prospect messages you, can you just send me the price and more pictures of the house? We have a rookie agent, Ricky, and of course, yeah, it's listed at $500,000. Here are 25 more photos, the property disclosure, the tax history, and the comps. And that's a no-no, right? And this is a no-no, don't do. And you'll get that a lot, right? Like, okay, of course, here's a $500,000. Here's a $500,000. You never want to give the price, so 500,000. Here's a 500,000, right? Or it's listed at 500,000, for example. Here are 25 more photos, the property disclosure, the tax history, and the comps. Right? Prospects are gonna say, okay, thanks. 2 days later, hey, just checking in, right? You're doing your due diligence, and you're getting ghosted now, right? So it's like our fictitious rookie, right? Remember, of course, yeah, it's just lifted $500,000. Here's 25 more photos. Yeah, just give me 25 more. You know, thanks. 2 days later, you got that ghosting reply. It's like, oh, just checking in, still looking. You're dying slowly, right? Because now I'm still looking, right? Where's that information coming from, right? You just gave me everything, and I'm gonna take it, and that to me is called a takeaway, right? Sometimes you get those, and sometimes you just got to live with it, right? So, what happened here? Let's break this down, guys. Sorry, I'm not spelling this properly. Okay. So, what happened here, right? And, we talked about the three, but we talked about the happy before I do. We talked about Ricky, of course, it's $500,000. Here's 25 more photos, the property disclosure, tax history, and comps. Okay. So what really happened here? There's no timeline. There's no emotional connection to documentation. It's uncontextualized. There's no direction. There's no close attempt here. You acted like Zillow, but with a pulse, right? Where's the broker come into this? Where's the professional come into this? And the prospect to say, hey, can you just and we'll go back to the versus this is the sales, this is the rookie versus professional effect, right? Right. And then you have your professional, sales professional, warrior, broker, right? Well, it could be senior, it could be again, it could be a professional or a warrior broker or warrior or just a sales broker, right? The broker, the owner, right? The CEO. So broker, can you again prospect? This is prospect now, right? So prospect will say, can you just send me the price and more pictures again? Right? We'll stick to the same one. Can you send me the price and more pictures? Can you send me the price and more pictures? Can you send me the price and more pictures? Happy to send that over. Before I do, and back to before I do, what specifically are you looking for so I can narrow this down? Prospect, well, I'm not confusing you guys, and this will say broker, professional. Right? I'm going to remove this because this is just make it so that you guys see that. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. I want you guys to, if you guys want to follow me along or write this down, transcripts are available for you guys in case you missed out on something. And again, this is easy to follow along as I'm typing it. I'm sure you guys are doing this too. And you guys are creating your own notes after. Remember, watch this video more than once to understand, right? And we're looking at the broker sales professional, right? Now, happy to send that over. This controls the shift. And I told you this, right? We broke this down to responsibility, filter tire kickers, authority. Right now, that prospect must engage. He has to engage, or else you're doing something wrong, right? Keep practicing with you got to practice with strangers. You got to call people. You got to get those recordings out there. You got to record yourself listening and see what your objections come in because I'm here to give you those objections, but it's up to you what you do with them, right? You may hear something once, you may listen 2 or 3 times, you can take the notes, right? But don't don't get ahead of yourself just yet, right? Don't just keep this information inside your head. Go out there and cold call and practice, with people and tell me if you want to practice, right? I'll measure your intelligence. I use a 5-star rating, right? So I can measure what you're doing wrong and give you some pointers, right? Um, or just let me know and join my course, right? My course. Just give me a message online and we could talk about. You can join my course and I'll teach you guys the right ways, right? And it's always good to have that one-to-one or one-to-many approach, right? For practice wise. Back in the days, I used to do a lot of role plays in my college university days. We learned how to role play, we learned how to communicate, we learned the distances of talking to people and how to respond to people and the proper way, right? Without getting frustrated. And that takes time, that takes a little bit of intuition, right? Because everybody's frustrations will show one day, right? And they do show one day. It's just how long it takes for that one person to break them down. So, you know, we're looking at the prospect versus sorry, the the rookie versus the personal professional effect. And then in this one, we're adding our agent, we're adding our prospect here, but we're looking at the different scenarios between, just to review what I'm said, so you're not really confused. This is our fictitious sales warrior, our rookie agent, sales agent, rookie agent, and then we have our sales professional or warrior versus our sales broker prospect, right? To the prospect. So this is a conversation. Can you just send me the price, more pictures? And this was also the same thing, just so that you're not confused, right? And it's all here. And this is what the prospect says to the agent. This is what the prospect says to the professional warrior broker. You know, yeah, just looking around. Here's another one. Here, just looking around. All right. Instead of using this one, right? Let's say this. Let's say this. Let's just look around. This is another one. Prospect. I'll give you two. Okay. Two examples. Just looking around. Right. Remember, warriors. You know, remember warriors, right? Just looking around. Got it. Are you browsing neighborhoods right now? Or are you hoping to make a move this year if something fits? You see how that was more calm? You don't have to act a certain way to get business. You don't have to show that you're happy without business. You should be able to approach, yeah, smile, obviously, but everybody's different, right? But being able to be calm in real estate, especially in real estate, got it. Are you just browsing neighborhoods right now? Are you hoping to make a move this year if something fits? Are you just browsing, right? And right there, you're browsing, moving this year. And that's where the binary categorization comes in, right? You're moving this year, browsing, right? So if the prospect says just browsing, right? Now, right? And if we were to break this down, just browsing. So prospect now says just browsing. And there's many scenarios, right? Just browsing. This is your time, sales broker. Perfect. I'll send over a quick overview. So I'll have it on your radar or in the back of my pocket. Right? When you're closer to making a move, we can look at properties that match your exact timeline. You're not over investing, right? You're not maintaining authority here. Your energy is protected. And that's just a vague prospect response, right? And you'll see how the prospect and this is called a vague response, right? Vague. We call this a vague prospect response. Think about it. Just looking around. Uh, can you just send me the price and more pictures, right? Then there's an actual intent. And I'm gonna get to the intent part, right? So we talked about vague prospect responses, right? Right. And now we're gonna be talking about intent. Guys, you know, if you're not focused and you're not understanding and you think this is boring, then get the fuck out of my class because I don't really care at this point, right? And to me it's like, you're going out there and I hear these people and you want to make money, but I don't see it, I don't hear it. And the more you stay with me, the more you're going to understand what an energy vampire is. Right? And you're going to get a lot of those energy vampires. I was one at one point, but yeah, everybody is, right? But at the end of the day, it's now you're in the hot seat, you're in control, you're driving the vision, you're the CEO. You have your intent, If this makes sense, we'd move it. We'd move within 3 to 6 months. Right now, we escalate. You've given me something here. Wait a second. You've given me something here, right? Right? You've given me something here, and this goes back to this. You've given me something, right? You're like, got it. Just bows it around, right? If this makes sense, we'd move, and the prospect, right? If this makes sense, we'd move within 3 to 6 months. All right, this is where we escalate. Perfect. If the home checks the boxes and the numbers align, listen, are you comfortable with making a decision in that time frame? Bang. That's secondary binary close. That second binary close. It's either a yes or a no now. Right? Brokers, sales professionals, warriors, closers. Like I now answer, yeah, of course, right? Or no, or yes. Now we move forward with the structure. Great. This home is listed at 500,000 based on what you're looking for. Space, the construction, low maintenance. This one fits well with what you're looking for. Something fits. It fits, right? Let's do this. I'll send you the details. We'll schedule a 20-minute showing this week. If it feels right in person, we could discuss submitting an offer before it gets completed. And this can happen in a text. This can happen in an email. This can happen in conversation, right? And this right there, it's clear direction. It's leadership. You're clearing the next step, right? I'm going to send you this script here, right? Even ballparks, 500,000, right? So even ballpark to a million, right? Don't worry about what they have. Give them that breadth, right? Based on what you're looking for, space, updated construction, low maintenance. This one fits well. Let's do this. I'll send you the details. You can email them. We'll schedule a 20-minute showing this week. If he says, bang, perfect, sure. Send me your email. I'll get my assistant to email you. If it feels right in person, we could discuss submitting an offer before it gets competitive. What just happened? Instead of here's the price, we got timeline, right? Timeline. We've got intent. We've got a commitment to show. We've got a path to close, and we've got the signal. And these are the 5 important steps in this script conversation here. And these are the five most important steps to get to a close, right? Right? Fresh paper. There you go. Right? Oops. Close, right? And right there, it's like, okay, right? Perfect. Perfect. Right? Let's change the color to choose blue. Maybe that'll help you guys a little bit better. So we've got step one, right? And I'll just give you the and right there we have timeline, intent, right? Buying signal, commitment to showing, half the close, right? Now it's time to close, right? Instead of hearing just the price, you got the timeline, you got the intent, right? You got the signal, you got the showing, and you got the path to close. Perfect, right? You should know this already, right? Try to fit this one fit. Well, okay. So, now it's time to close at the showing now, based on what you told me. So remember, have those notes ready. Have that in your phone, have that on your laptop, right? And presentation is key, right? So based on what you told me, location, construction quality, long-term value, does this feel like something you regret missing if it's sold? Yeah, I would, right? That's an emotional binary there, right? Yeah, I think so. Prospect will say, yeah, I think so. Then the next smart step is to position yourself properly, right? He gave you that, yeah, right? Sometimes a yeah, huh, is their way of saying, yeah, I'm interested. I think so. You've given me what you wanted, so let's move on. Get them to buy, right? And close that deal, right? So we can submit a strong offer today and negotiate from strength, you could say, right? Do you want to secure it? Bang, close. Close, right? Close. So why does this work well in real estate? Again, you know, shop pictures. Most buyers will shop pictures emotionally, right? So they'll want to look at the pictures. They'll ask the price early. They'll avoid commitment. You know, you can post pictures, you can post, but they'll always have questions about the pictures. Anything that's an emotional value or industrial, especially in estate sales, it's either emotional or it's industrial, right? So it could be both too. But again, avoid commitment, compare endlessly, right? So that's what buyers are going to do. And professional guys, remember, slowly exchange, qualify the buyer first, maybe. That'll separate the serious people from the fake people. Qualify. Use the qualifying method. Use binary decisions. Lead with calm authority. Remember something in real estate, the professional real estate principle, never reward casual browsing with serious effort, right? Make them choose browsing or buying or curious or committed. Because once someone chooses a category, their brain starts behaving consistently, right? And with that identity, and again, that's how deals close, right? We can get into the luxury real estate version, right, where we have our million plus psychology, but rookies are still not at that point yet, right? So once you master that, you can go into the luxury and psychology aspect of it, right? There is actually a luxury psychology, and I'm not going to tell you what direction to go to yet because I know you guys are still rookies learning to become professional. Even if you got 10 years experience, the psychology is a little bit different, right? I wouldn't just throw you on a $1 million plus real estate luxury home on your first try, right? You would have to learn a little bit more, right? It takes time. It's not something you're going to think like, oh, okay, but there are scenarios. And again, if you guys want, I can teach you guys how to do that. But this has nothing to do with energy vampires. This is something totally different. And, if you are interested in one and I receive 5 likes, yeah, I'll create something for you guys in luxury real estate version, right? Or you can join my course and we could talk about it. Yeah. This is about energy vampires, right? So, remember this, right? Can you just send me pictures, the price, right? And this will also happen in $1 million plus luxury properties and homes. And yes, there is a psychology to that, right? Different scenario. I feel like you guys want me to tell you. Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. But again, I'm not doing this because, uh, you know, but I feel like I should be able to show you guys what this is all about, especially in a luxury property. So, say for example, you have a luxury property that's worth $1.2 million, right? And you'll see, yeah, just send me the price and more pictures of the estate, right? And that's the prospect. And the rookie will say, of course, it's listed at $1.2 million. Here's about 50 pictures. Here's about here's all the floor plans. Here's all the tax info. Here's all the amenities listed. And prospects will say, okay, thanks. Again, going back to the closing stage again. 2 days later, just checking in. And we're talking about luxury properties here. Still thinking about it. Like, yeah, you there's no emotional connection. There's no sense of exclusivity. There's no deal. The deal stalls. You just lost control, rookie. And remember, in real estate, in luxury real estate, it's even worse, right? You'll still get the same responses from the prospect, but you'll get that either that explorer, that serious buyer, and when you're looking for the explorer, like, oh, just looking for now, understood. Luxury properties move fast, professional will say. The right fit is key. I can send a high level overview for context. And when you're ready to explore seriously, we can arrange a private tour with all the details, right? Said a professional. We can arrange a private tour with all the details. Yeah, you have to kind of become a little bit of a tour guide here, but or you can get your agents to kind of show the tour or your helpers to show the tour. That way, you've got everything that you need, right? Or the prospect has everything you need. You can actually break this down however you like. But remember, it's understood luxury properties move fast. And the right fit is key. I can send a high level overview for context. And when you're ready to explore seriously, we can arrange a private tour with all the details. There's nothing wrong with that. You're protecting your energy, you're maintaining exclusivity, you're setting professional boundaries, just, emotion icon, emoji responses, like I've seen a lot, unless you've got millions of people responding to you and you don't want to respond to every single objection of an emoji, just get that done. And we're looking for the explorers, right? You'll get the explorers come in and nosy around, and cars that pass by, and they'll they'll see the sign in the front of the lawn, and they'll stop and they'll see somebody there, the real estate agent, hammering down the sign and saying, hey, I'm just looking for now. Understood, luxury properties move fast. Put my hammer down. I can send a high level overview for context. And when you're ready to explore seriously, we can arrange a private tour with all the details. Here's my card. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's more to the approach. There's more to the closure. But again, estates are rare. The right decisions about timing and fit, obviously. Doesn't matter whether it's 500,000, a million, half a billion, 1.5 million, 2 million. If it aligns with your lifestyle goals, I can position you immediately, right? So otherwise, we can wait for the next opportunity. So which path makes sense for you? So the real estate is rare, and this is in any scenario as well too. In the luxury brand, and again, guys, this is actually I'm like spoon feeding you guys here, right? You guys are lucky. So if you want, you could turn this into a binary direct position where you're a trusted expert and not just a vendor, right? So this estate is rare. It's luxury, right? We're talking about luxury estates. And this is just a prime example, right? Big money here, right? It's rare. Design, right decision. It's about timing and fit, right? Yeah, 5 buyers behind me already, right? They don't know that. If it aligns with your lifestyle and goals, I can position you immediately. Otherwise, we could wait for the next opportunity. Which path makes sense for you? Here's my card, right? Which path makes sense for you? There's a path to this, right? It's direct. You're positioning the trusted expert. You gotta, like I said, I'm spoon feeding you guys. Like what path makes sense for you, right? And if you break down the comment here, break it down, right? You're, you know what? You guys are lucky today. right? And I'll tell you something, you know, and this is like this is just a closing statement here. Like I've I've seen this used so many times, and you know, and even in the license registration. So again, guys, my apologies. I'll have to cut off that time there. I had something important happen there. But again, let's get back to the actual statement, right? If it aligns with your lifestyle and goals, I can position you immediately. Otherwise, we can wait for the next opportunity. Which path makes sense for you? Um, you know, which path makes sense for you is just the binary close. Remember that. It gives the prospect two clear options. Either we move for now or we wait for the next opportunity, right? We need to position ourselves immediately. So by asking which path makes sense for you, you're kind of forcing a decision without being pushy. You're letting them self-select their commitment. You're giving them the control. You're giving them the control, right? And it's a key part of selective and closed binary categorization, right? Which is part of you know, the one-to-many NRS stuff, right? So the NRS. So if you want, I can rewrite like I said, I can, you can rewrite this in many ways and make it even sharper, more persuasive for luxury real estate deals. Again, just message the word luxury close, right? Let's do this. Let's do this. And I feel you guys are being really spoon-fed, right? Let's just put the word luxury in the chat and I will send you the PDF script of what we just talked about, right? And this goes for anything, but it's the luxury, right? And people who are in luxury sales and houses worth millions of dollars and, half a million to three-quarters of a million to a million, right? So, you know, let me know and, we could talk about that. But this isn't about luxury, right? This is about our fictitious example, right? And again, when we're looking at stuff, we're looking at, you know, are you just gathering information or looking to solve this soon if it makes sense? Silence them, let them choose. That's leadership in sales, right? That's leadership in sales. Remember that, right? And I'm going to let you keep this as part of my gift to you. Let them silence, right? Silence them. Let them choose. That's leadership, guys. That's leadership in sales, rookies. So remember that, take advantage of that situation. At the end of the day, sales isn't just about chasing people. Use your mind here, right? It's about qualifying intention. If someone wants price, only wants pictures, or only reacts with emojis, that's not momentum. That's noise. Think about it. Rookies chase noise. We as warriors professionals, we qualify commitment. And I told you this, right? Your time is valuable, your energy is currency. And that momentum, you stop rewarding low investment behavior. Your pipeline just gets stronger, right? So lead the example, protect your focus, close with character. I'll see you in the next one.